Warm greetings to all my friends and fellow freedom lovers around the world. This is Mark Emery, and I'm going to give you a real short synopsis as to why you need to be involved in the Community Support Network. Now, you've seen it, you've taken a look at it, you've probably taken a cursory look and looked at some of the superficialities that appear on the website. And let me just say, that really is not at all representative of the entirety of what's going on within CSN. All right. So here are just a few reasons why you need to be involved. Okay. CSN, the Community Support Network, is all about financial education, teaching you how money works and how to make it work for you, and a whole lot more. All right. Today, I want to start talking about the whole lot more because we've been adding value and benefits and activities to CSN that I want you to know about in case you haven't been abreast of recent developments. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that first, but let me go back to my original statement. Back when I was in high school, I knew very well early on what I wanted to do in life. And I recognized that if I ever wanted to have money, I needed to know how money works. And I knew that at a very early age. And if you know anything about my activities in the international financial arena, basically, I've gotten involved in areas that involve just about any kind of activity through a third party network working through our systems that can do just about anything short of having a bank license. And I've been involved in going after those too. All right. So if you are in that position, if you would like to have more funds and financial resources at your disposal, you need to learn how money works. All right. So I'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, let's talk about and a whole lot more. What we've recently added to the Community Support Network. Now, you're likely very aware that the National Action Task Force has been folded into the Community Support Network, or CSN community. And in NATF, anybody who's at all concerned about their freedoms and the attacks that tyrants are making upon those freedoms, then you need to be aware of and involved with the National Action Task Force. There are an endless number of things you can do to support that. But in NATF, the education is going to be primarily how to defend your rights, how to stand up against tyranny. You know, when Johnny Officer pulls you over, when Larry the license inspector shows up at your doorstep, at your business, or when Child Protective Services shows up knocking at your door, or contact tracers, or who knows who, wanting to step all over your rights, you need to know how to handle yourself. All right? And when handled properly, these people go away. They go away. The reason tyranny exists is because they have been used to getting away with murder. And why? Because most of us don't know squat about how to defend our rights or how to stand up to them. So, without getting into all that, you understand all that. In the Community Support Network Community Center, members of NATF will be able to access documents, presentments, legal positions, flyers, cards to put in your glove box to hand officers when you're pulled over so you don't have to say much of anything, if anything. All types of resources that you'll be able to use to stand up, draw that line in the stand, and legally and peacefully defend your rights and stop abuse, stop these minions of tyranny from walking all over you. And that's exactly what they're doing, and that's what they want to do. And if you let them, well, you made your bed, you go lay in it. Okay? So the Community Center for CSN is going to be a resource center for the National Action Task Force, all right, as a recent development. Another recent development relates to the financial and economic issue of learning how to make money any time of day, anywhere you're at. No recruiting, no sales, no network building, only you and your handheld computer and your telephone, all right? And that has to do with learning how to trade. You may be aware that we have been recently very energetic in promoting a trading academy called Trade Era. It's actually been a blessing that they've just closed their doors. They're no longer functioning. And so that has opened the door of opportunity for us. In that, as you know, I am very actively involved in the markets and I trade every day. And so I'll be offering not only a signal service if you want to learn to trade yourself, but along with that will be full analysis of the charts and the decision making that go behind the signals so that you can learn as you earn. So you can start earning right away in your own trade account that you control. You have full access over your funds. You can use any broker. You simply you set up your account, fund your account, and subscribe to the signal service. And in addition to the signals, you're going to get a full training system to go with that. So you're going to learn as you earn. All you need is a brokerage account. You fund it with whatever amount you like. There's many brokerage accounts that will trade mini contracts, which means you can fund it with as little as $500, perhaps $1,000, no big deal. Even $100. Or you can fund it with nothing and just learn with a demo account. And while you're learning, be doing other things to generate cash flow to put in your trading account. And this is the best of all scenarios because you control your funds. If you need those funds, you have direct access to those funds and you're in complete control. Now, I do offer an option for managed accounts for people that don't want to take the time or energy to do all that. And that's also an option. In my comment there to people who are using some of these trading Bitcoin trading programs on the internet is you don't know who's doing the trading. You don't have a relationship with them, and that's most important in business. If you're doing any business with anybody, you need to have a direct personal relationship with that party. And if there's some mysterious guy or group behind the curtain that you can't see, don't know, and can't access, well, that's a big warning signal. Okay, and there are other reasons that those kind of programs don't last. And I've talked about that on another video I just did today for our members. So that's a beautiful opportunity to learn how to make money work for yourself. And this is going to be available through the Community Support Network. This will be in the professional trading community. So let me go through these communities that we have real quick to give you a real quick overview, okay? So I've mentioned legal self-defense, talking about the National Action Task Force. Those resources will be in the legal self-defense community. Consider it like a Facebook page, you know, with different tabs, different chats, different posts, videos, documents, you know, a whole library of resources, all right? So that's the legal self-defense community. The professional trading community will have a number of options available for making money in the markets. How do you want to do it? Set up a trust, do it privately, tax-free. That's an interesting option, okay? So professional trading is one of, I think it's 8 communities that we have right now. We have a community called Strategy 2020, and that is, in essence, putting together various pieces of a puzzle so that you have multiple streams of cash flow working for you at any given time through one activity. which of course is CSN. Okay, so it's a whole cornucopia of opportunities kind of wrapped into one. So that's the Strategy 2020 community. Then we have the Gold Emporium community, which includes all kinds of information on how to acquire gold, how to store it, where to acquire it, where to store it, where you can have access to it to be fully liquid with a debit card. So let's say you have your gold stored in a private vault in Switzerland. You could access that with a debit card if you ever need it. That's the biggest issue most people have. They say, well, if I have this gold stored away somewhere, how do I get a hold of it? How do I use it? How do I benefit if I need it, right? So that's one thing you can learn. So in the Gold Emporium, we're going to learn how to accumulate gold, in many cases using other people's money. There's a way to do that, how to access that, how to keep it private, how to keep it totally private. And I won't say anything more than that, but that nobody knows about it or needs to know about it for any reason. All right, so you draw your own conclusions on that statement. So there's the Gold Emporium. There's the business coaching community, where we have a load of resources showing people how to set up a business, what's required to have a successful business. Many people are coming from an employment situation, they've never been in business, don't know where to start, how to get the right mindset, what are the obstacles to avoid, what creates most failures, and how to avoid those. So there's a lot of fantastic training in our business coaching community. Then we have the spiritual warfare community, which is critically important. This is where we're going to have, let me take a step back. In the spiritual warfare community, we have a lot of the activity of the World Mission Church. And the World Mission Church is going through training sessions right now, step by step, teaching people how to come out of Babylon, how to step out of man's statutory jurisdiction and live under the divine providence of no less than God himself in the jurisdiction of the kingdom of heaven, which is protected up one side and down the other by constitutions, by international conventions, by international treaties, and there's just a wealth of protection to separate yourself from the Babylonian system. And so in World Mission Church, we're going through a step-by-step training program. Those trainings will be in the community center. All right, CSN, Spiritual Warfare Community Center. Privacy and asset protection. As you start to get money working for you, it's one thing to build it, to create it, to generate it. It's another thing altogether to keep it. We're living in a predatory world. Governments are bankrupt, and they're looking for any way to get their hands on your money, especially if you have a pension fund, an IRA, or a 401k. You need to be particularly aware of the hunger of the predators and what they may, could, or perhaps will do to those funds that are just sitting out there for them. All right, you've got to protect your assets. And if you're starting at the very bottom, economically speaking, and wanting to build an estate, then this is something, there's no better time to be building your financial fortress than now, as you start to accumulate and put it in a very safe place where it's basically unreachable, untouchable, and equally untaxable. Okay? So that's a huge benefit. What have I missed? There's probably a couple communities that I've missed there. CSN is one, understanding how community support network works. The gifting program with CSN is a no-brainer. It's just a no-brainer for people. And there's plenty of information available on that you've probably already seen. You might want to go and review it again. That's just an added bonus in addition to all the educational benefits that you have in the community center for CSN. I might note, going back to the National Action Task Force, there too, we're having weekly training sessions, step by step, how to build a legal defense for virtually any situation that might come upon you where you have people from officialdom wanting to step on your rights. Not only what to do to defend those rights, but what to do when they've been offended and how to come back and go on the offense. Okay, so I just wanted to mention those training sessions for NATF are also in the legal self-defense community. All right, so just a wealth of information, not only from the standpoint of financial and economic freedom, but also for legal self-defense, spiritual warfare, and how to invoke the blessings and promises of no less than God himself to come upon you as you make the effort to exit Babylon, which is our prime objective for most of us. So there you have it. Okay. Just wanted to leave you with that. You need to be involved in CSN. I don't care who you are or what you're doing. There are huge benefits for you to be a part of the community support network. So get with the person who referred you. If you're a member of the National Action Task Force, ask somebody at NATF for that referral link. If you don't have a sponsor or anybody that you've been involved with to lead you to this video, then simply go to csn.world and a sponsor will be assigned to you. Okay? If you've got any issues, please submit a support ticket. We'll get to that ASAP. And let me just say, when you join, the first thing you should do is contact your sponsor. We have some members who just signed up and they went away. They're just not responsive, all right? So you need to make sure you've got a responsive sponsor. If you don't, we'll help you with that and get that solved, okay? So we'll see you in the community center. Join us in CSN, and let me tell you, you will be glad you did, all right? So enough for now. Thanks, take care, and God bless.